Hello, hello. We are going to at last continue my adventures in Japan. It is a new day, a beautiful, crisp blue sky. You can't ask for a better gradient than that. What did we do today? I actually don't quite remember, so let's find out. There's already quite a few quintessentially Japan things in this photograph, such as karaoke floor, honey toast, ita sha. This is a popular type of Uber type thing in Japan, the S ride. I think it's like basically still taxis. It's not just like randos, but instead just sort of like a rebranding and appification of the existing taxi system. But that's not that interesting. So let's check out this frog squirting water as a little fountain. Yeah, today we went to Ueno Park. It was right near our hotel, so we figured we should check it out. And we had plans for this afternoon, evening. What were they? We'll find out. And it seemed like a nice thing to do in the morning. The other thing, too, I remember this now. My mom had found a directory of all sorts of flea markets, antique markets, big garage sale type things in Japan, or in Tokyo, I think specifically. I don't remember where she found this. I'm going to assume Instagram. It was really cool to look at, and I'm trying not to be too much of like thing Japan meme, you know what I'm talking about? No, I need the meme. Yeah. Because I'm sure there exists a similar directory of such sales in Toronto, and I mean, that's pretty cool too. But what's crazy is that Tokyo is so huge. Like, Tokyo is a city with the population of Canada, basically. There's just so many in so many places at so many times selling such a insane diversity of stuff. So we saw one that was happening in Ueno on this directory on this day, on Sunday morning. And it was called the Aozora Antique Market. And we were like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, maybe we'll go check that out. We decided to like Google it and see if we can find any more info. And if there's any Japanese speakers watching this, they're probably tittering to themselves right now. Because we found, yeah, the Aozora Antique Market is happening. Well, it's happening in Hokkaido. Oh, and there's also one in Nagoya. And it's not just happening today. It seems like the Aozora Antique Market is happening like, wow, like every day of the week. And I was like, wait. I think I see what's going on here. We go back to the original directory, the directory we were looking at. I like untranslate it because by default my browser will translate everything into English. Aozora, that just means like open air. So it just means it's the open air antique market. So we were very confused, but that was the answer, and we set off into Ueno Park, confident we would have a nice time regardless of whether or not the antique market was truly there. Ueno Park is beautiful, very well maintained, lovely park with all sorts of stuff inside of it. There's a little torii path, kind of a version in miniature of the famous one in Mount Inari near Kyoto. Very pretty. Old shrines. There's like an old bell in here. How's these? Oh my gosh. Old lanterns. A Buddha. This is also Buddhism. You can see the wheel. Oh, I think this was another magic eraser experiment. It did okay. It added some additional brass here where it makes no sense, but, you know, there's no people. That's for sure. But yeah, really lovely and so integrated into downtown society. Like, I mean, yeah, again, don't want to be all thing Japan. Because Central Park is great for this, too. And High Park in Toronto and Riverside Park in Toronto are also great. Like, big open green areas that you can get to trivially from an urban setting. But I don't know. It's like, I think it's just like the history that this park has been like this for hundreds of years. That's so cool to me. I mean, Central Park's getting up there, but it still can't compete. And this has been a place of leisure for like 10 generations now. It's unreal. There was a peony garden that we were curious about. We didn't end up checking it out. It was like paid and extra, and my mom was like, I grow peonies at home. Neat tree, just eons of roots building upon each other. These are old ceremonial lanterns. This was also within a shrine. Not sure what this is exactly. It may be names. None of these names I can read trivially. Machikawa? Maybe? Machikawa? This one I should be able to read. Anyways. Yeah, so we started making our way into some of the older and more substantial shrines. There's big pagodas in here. These lanterns were like national treasure. Oh no, these lanterns were a national treasure. The copper lanterns. Designated as national treasures of Japan. I think the national treasure system is pretty interesting. You know, every country has a similar one. In Japan, though, they have something I think that is kind of unique, which is the living national treasure, which are people that are so skilled in their particular artisan skill or have just achieved such great things in the arts that Japan recognizes them as like significant to building and maintaining the national culture. And so they get a stipend every year. They get something on the order of 2 million yen, which isn't like an absurd amount, but it's something. And they get various other statuses and recognitions and stuff. But yeah, this is pretty neat. From the daimyos from all over Japan to this shrine. They're still here. Still in such great shape. The Emma, I mentioned these in the previous video, but I couldn't remember what they were called. There's like another term for this too. But yeah, they're neat. They show up in anime a lot. Pivotal moments of, oh, what did you write on yours? Oh, it's like a nice sentimental moment at the end. We didn't do one. I've never done one. I don't know what I would put. But all sorts of great stuff here. I like this drawing of birds. Can see a decent number of English ones. Just fun. A multicultural thing. Here we see a whole bunch of charms that you can buy at the shrine. This is another one you see in anime a lot. People buying each other these as encouragement for exams or sports or whatever. Here's one I couldn't figure out was Uniko's talisman. This is a Tezuka character from way back in like the 60s. And yeah, it's Uniko's like protection or whatever. What does that do you for? This is just like from Tezuka's works, Uniko's talisman. Uniko wa hito hito ni shiawase o Uniko like brings happiness to people. And then like kanji blitz. Oh, this is Tezuka. Tezuka lived to... No, he didn't. Tezuka lived something 90 years. Oh, for like 90 years, Tezuka's works have brought us happiness. Maybe something like that. Because Tezuka did not make it to 90. Very tragically, he did not make it anywhere close to 90. Let's check Discord quick before I get too launched into the rest of this stuff. Okay. Yuzu, I'm pretty sure. A yuzu tree. A fruit that is all the rage. I was talking to my mom about it. She's like, yeah, I've seen so many yuzu products in the last couple of years. It's been taken off. I don't know what the next trendy fruit will be, but yuzu's still kind of having its time in the sun. These things I always call shisha, and I don't really even know what language that is. It sounds like Chinese, and I know like something like that is lion in Chinese, and then I think shisha is also lion in Japanese. Actually, yeah, no, it is. But these are always called kome inu, and it's a dog. It's not even a lion. So I don't know why I've always I see these and just instinctively I say shisha. I think it's from Azumanga Daioh. I Wow, 19 years ago. Wow, wow, I've stumbled upon something amazing. Uh, yeah, it's when they go to Osaka. It's when they go to Osaka. For some reason, they keep shouting shisha when they see these. I think that's what it's from. I had to like really dig into the recesses of my brain, and then I had to get a little more stimulated by a thread from 19 years ago. But I think that's it. I think that's why whenever I see these things. Anyways, I never realized this before. They're always in pairs. I knew that, but I didn't notice that one always has an open mouth and the other always has a closed mouth. And it's meant to be that the open mouth is saying ah, and the closed mouth is saying and those are the first and last characters in like the hiragana katakana syllably. So it's almost. I was telling my mom about it, and she's like, "Oh, it's kind of like the Alpha Omega in like the Christian church," and very much yes, it's like an equivalent thing. Um, yeah, the beginning and the end of the universe, the ah un. So there's the un, and there's the ah. Wait, yeah, it's going ah. Very cool. This was another extremely impressive shrine clad in gold leaf. People making sincere offerings and prayers. Big tree. Ginkgo leaves. It's a ginkgo tree, I suppose. Yeah. Ginkgo, pretty cool. Medicinal for various things. Here you can see one of the great icons of Shintoism, in my mind at least, is these ropes, often with the paper tag things that I can't remember the names of. You see them tied around ancient trees and used in ceremonial garb and stretch across the top of shrines and stuff. They have like a really nice feeling for me. Something so like earthy and warm about them. I don't know, just the wovenness, the interconnectedness. Shintoism has great vibes. Not that I'm like a believer, and not that I can even speak to the ideology of it because I actually know very, very little about what Shintoism says about like the human condition. But the mythology of Shintoism and kind of the aesthetics of its place in Japan, pretty baller. Estimated to be over 600 years old, it was here before the shrine was built and is being cared for by shrine guardians. Isn't that so cool? Trunk circumference 8 meters. You can't even hope to get your arms around it. That's so neat. This is a nice shot my mom took. Okay, there's a funny story here. So we were just kind of like wandering around the shrine, checking stuff out, reading placards and stuff, as you are wont to do as a tourist. And this group of old ladies are just kind of like chatting amongst themselves, coming around the corner. And I hear them saying, Tanuki, over there's a Tanuki in Japanese. I don't know exactly what they're saying, but I know they're saying, over there's a Tanuki. And I was so excited because I thought, oh, wow, I mean, it's not impossible, right? We're out kind of in a natural setting. We're pretty far removed from the hustle and bustle of the city at this point. There could be an actual tanuki, a little raccoon dog running around, and I've never seen one in real life before. So I walk over and I go, "Oh, sumimasen, tanuki no honto doko ni yoru?" Where is it? What? Real tanuki? And this woman goes, "Oh, kochi kochi," and she walks me over, and it's just this shrine. It's a little shrine with a tanuki statue in it. And I went, "Oh, wakata." I went, "Honto ikimono to omoimasu." I thought it was the real animal, and they all just like burst out laughing. I went, "Oh, mezurashi to omoimasu." Oh, I thought that was rare, and they were like, "Yeah, it's really rare." I was like, so I don't know. It was very funny. I was happy to have that little interaction with them, and it certainly made them laugh. But here's a little history of what the Tanuki shrine represents. There's a lot of stuff like this in Japan where homophones are given association. That's why Kit Kats are so popular, or not maybe the only reason, they're also just delicious and easy to make lots of different flavors of. But Kitukatu is like sure success, basically. So it would started to be given as like a little pun joke word of encouragement for people that are gonna try an exam or whatever. You're sure to succeed. And similarly here, tanuki can be pronounced the same as surpass others. So it's all again about employment and success and business and stuff. So I made a little offering there because I need to get a job. This is neat too. The tanuki used to be associated with disaster. But then, ideological, cultural understanding shifted. And now the tanuki prevents disasters. So this is nice. He got elevated to the status of a god within Shintoism. O Tanuki-sama. And here's the shrine itself. This picture turned out to be mostly just a reflection of me. But you can kind of see him in there. And I see myself in the tanuki, in his party-loving but successful and virtuous ways. Although also kind of a trickster. I don't know. Am I really that similar to the tanuki? Not really. Here's a side view of the shrine, just beautifully gilt. Amazing, intricate patterns everywhere, and all the lattice work and stuff. Really just a sight to behold. More interesting little info about it. This I always find interesting. There's all these like animal motifs. Like this one is fishes, there's birds and stuff. But as I pointed out, there's also mythical creatures that are just kind of woven in there. And it's kind of like, it makes you tempted to think, whoa, they must have really existed back then. They were just treated the same as any other animal. There's the peasant, there's the phoenix, they're related. But really it's more like, these artisans and stuff are just drawing upon a long list of animal motifs in which one is just as mythical as the other. Like, it's not like they had a taxiomatic understanding of carp. There was just carp, and they were beautiful, koi, glittering, shining fish of many colors. And that was like just as mythical as this bird that can be reborn and stuff, right? So they were all just kind of given the same status. Not because the carver had intimate familiarity with any of them. I don't know. That's my take at least, and I kind of like that because it reminds you that all of the animals we really do have are also really cool and beautiful and amazing. So is the shrine. Very cool. Legend has it that every night, two dragons visit the Shin Obazu pond to drink from its water. Here we see a peasant on a drum. It's so cool. Just so intricate. I guess I didn't take a picture of the dragons. Oh well. But yeah, we spent a while here. This is like a map. This is the main shrine building. I think we paid like 500 yen entry, but what a great deal to really immerse yourself in history like that. This was kind of interesting. There was like a totem pole, and from a distance, you're like, "Whoa, there's a totem pole." You know, that's from where we're from. And then we got closer, and we saw that it was sponsored by the Lions Club, which is, if you don't know, it's like a social club. They do volunteer work and run little fundraisers and put on dinners and charity work and stuff like that. My dad was in a similar club called the Optimists. I think of these things as like essentially North American. I guess because they don't really make the news very often, period, and then my local experience with them has been entirely North American. But they always do say Lions International. I guess I never really thought about that. But yeah, there's Lions clubs in Japan. They still out here serving. And serving up a neat little totem pole. So that was interesting. There's another shot of it. Another torii, stone torii. Big stone torii. I only learned this after. I learned this again in manga. But apparently, you're not supposed to walk down right in the middle of these big torii. That's bad. You have to walk askew to one of the sides. News to me. I would have thought it's polite to walk right down the middle. Maybe it's more like you're occupying too much of a status if you're doing that, and you're acting like you're some big shot or something. I don't know. Beautiful, magnificent old trees. Everywhere you look, nice paths that kind of wander up and deeper into the forest. And then, boom, like that. You can just see we're still in the city. We're just like 10 minutes walk from the city. This was a food festival. Well, like a festival with a bunch of food stalls that we saw. But we didn't go there quite yet. First, we went and checked out the pond. I saw a crane. I love cranes. Like I'm saying, man, the animals we've already got are already so cool. The fact that all the mythical animals turned out to be BS shouldn't be a deterrent on thinking about how cool our zoology is. So yeah, I was trying to take good pictures of this crane for a while. They're not great. But here we can see the pond in general. Still, oh, these are my mom's attempts. This one is pretty good. You can barely see the crane, but it has a good feel. And then here is the open air, the Aozora Antique Market. It really was there. It stretched like all the way around one side of the pond. Not even that, actually. Just like a chunk of the pond. But it was very cool. Tanuki statue. Just all sorts of old stuff. It was really neat to see. I don't think I ended up buying anything here, spoiler warning. But I tried to take some non-intrusive photos to kind of capture the atmosphere and vibe of this place. And also so that I could explore them later in more depth in the photo, since we weren't trying to spend all day here. Here we see some natsume, I'm pretty sure these are, which is the container that you put tea leaves in tea ceremonies. I went to a whole museum of natsume last time I was here, you may recall. But just some weird stuff, man. Like, I didn't even notice this taxidermied alligator before. We got a taxidermied parrot as well. And it's like, I don't want to be all thing Japan. Look at this little flounder thing. Because if I go to like a flea market in Canada, I'm probably just like, what a load of junk. I probably wouldn't be that interested. It's just not always my cup of tea. But I think it's just like, it should be my cup of tea more. I think I should be more interested in that sort of stuff. Not even to purchase it, but just in appreciating the diversity and richness of history a little stall like this can contain. And all the stories that one can imagine that led these items to collect here. I've failed to truly appreciate that when I'm in similar places in North America. But the novelty of this being in Japan and the relative weirdness of things, like what are these porcelain figures? I wouldn't think twice in North America, but here I'm like, how'd they end up here? It really just sort of like refreshed the whole concept to me, and I was quite engrossed. This I was really fascinated by. The anatomical model, very expensive. But you see these in Japanese schools a lot. There's a lot of kind of like horror tropes. You know, not so much horror, I guess, as like childhood scary story tropes around these things like coming to life or moving around in the night. Because they are really freaky. And you can take out all the organs and stuff and see how it all fits together. But wow, what a great learning tool to be able to do that. This is also some sort of medical sample collection thing. I saw quite a few of these in one Mandarake specifically. I don't really get what it is, but whatever. This one was neat. There was a whole bunch of kokushi dolls. And then what looks like, at least in my uneducated view, a lot of like African stuff. And it was like a black lady working there, so maybe. So that was kind of neat, just this kind of like cultural fusion of things with kind of like this similar wooden aesthetic, but coming from completely different cultures. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. Really old school printing plates too, you know? You ever think about the Japanese printing press, huh? We had to deal with what, like 56 different characters, if we're being generous, capitals, lower cases, and some punctuation. China and Japan, when they started printing stuff, they had to come up with little presses for thousands of kanji. Ridiculous. And yet, they still beat us to the punch. Yeah, if you didn't know, there was printing in Japan. There was printing presses in Japan before the Nuremberg Bible or whatever it's called. We actually got super beaten to the punch on that. This is a shot of all the stalls in general, little play areas and stuff. Just what a cozy vibe. You know, come out with your kids. They can run around on the equipment. You can go peruse some antiques. Another shot of the pond, some shrines on the other side. Here you can see some lotus pods, which is kind of cool. I know some people get freaked out by that. Sorry, trigger warning. I don't think that's too bad, though. It's more like people don't like it photoshopped onto other stuff, which, again, sorry if just hearing about that triggers you. But I don't think I'd ever seen one in the wild before, an actual lotus pod. So then we decided to come over and grab a bite to eat in this little festival. This is, again, I am sure you're going to be sick of me hearing this. Sick of hearing me say this. This is something you see in anime all the time. Because they're happening in Japan all the time. This is a pretty regular occurrence. I'm sure on any given Sunday we can find something happening in some park in Japan that's kind of like this. So we got some shaved ice. It was a hot day. This video almost perfectly loops. I guess that's not so surprising, but go me. If you've never had shaved ice before, it's exactly what it sounds like. They take a big block of ice and shave it up like so. And so it's kind of like fluffy and crisp and melts in your mouth. And then you get all sorts of different syrups and squeeze them on there. And it's delicious. It really hits the spot on a cold day like this. So refreshing and hydrating. Sweet, but not that sweet. So tasty. So I loaded mine up with all sorts of good stuff. Then we went to I don't know what these things are called. It's like a batter, kind of like a pancakey batter that they pour into these molds, and then you just get a little bag of them. Here you see with lots of dexterity, he's flicking them out of their molds and into this little tray. This is the artisanship of Japan I love to see. Food related. No, I don't know. It's always satisfying seeing somebody that's very good at an aspect of their job and can just kind of knock it out hypnotically like this. This was the main shrine of this festival. I think it was a festival for the shrine. They were doing burnt offerings. People en masse were coming in and paying their respects, and then it seemed like there was going to be some sort of ritual that everybody was kind of like preparing to watch. We didn't do it. We didn't go in. I didn't see like any tourists go into the actual main shrine, so that didn't really seem like our place, which is fine with me. Nice little Odin cart. There's a manga I read. I feel like I explained this at length, but maybe it's in the video that hasn't been published yet. Look forward to that. There's a manga I read that's all about just kind of like small pleasures in life in Japan. And in one of them, they talk at length about the romantic appeal of an Odin cart that's just situated in the middle of nowhere, just kind of sitting on a hill or something. And I was like, ooh, yeah, that does have a really good vibe. Not that I'm like a huge Odin lover or something. I didn't actually have it at all on this trip. I didn't really seek it out. I like it. If I was like told, hey, we're gonna go get Odin tonight, I'd be, super pumped. At any rate, it was more just the allure of the kind of phantom Odin cart. So this is not that, but I do kind of like that it has its own little spot outside of the festival, next to the beer tent. You just have kind of a reprise from the festival at large. Have some Odin, have a beer. It's lovely. Here's my mom holding up one of the little Hello Kitties. There's our bag of them. It's really tasty. I don't know. They're not super sweet. And they're not super flavorful in general, but they just have like a nice, warm, bready taste that doesn't get old. This was a strange poster I saw. I was actually thinking about this poster when I was talking about the stall that had both some kind of like historic African goods and historic Japan wood goods. I don't really understand what this poster means exactly. Wafrika, which is also here. This is like the general catch-all term for like the Japanese aesthetic. Like washoku is like traditional Japanese cuisine, basically. So this wa, which is also the wa in Reiwa, the era, if you somehow knew about Reiwa but didn't know that. And here, they're fusing it with Africa, Wafrika. And these designs, I guess, are kind of somewhere between like the Jomon pottery kind of design. Wait, is it Jomon? No, it's not Jomon. What's the other one? Heh. Dogu? Yeah. It kind of has like Dogu vibes. But then maybe somehow also like Africa vibes. But this tagline really stuck with me: in search of a third aesthetic. And I took it to mean that Japan had an era of like Eastern aesthetics, where the overwhelming cultural influence was China and other Asian countries. And then Japan is currently in an era of Western aesthetics, where the kind of dominant cultural force is coming from the West. And I say that, not like... I just realized I kind of strayed into the territory of like, I don't know, some sort of reactionary conservative. And we need to drive that influence out of here. Because, I'm talking on the scale of like in the last 100 years, in the last 200 years even, it's been trending in that direction. I'm not complaining about like tourists or something. But yeah, Western aesthetics have been like the driving force behind like anime and like idol culture and stuff like that. So it's kind of like asking this question: is there a potential third aesthetic age in Japan? And where can we find it? What other cultures can be an influence on Japan? What kind of aesthetics can we uniquely build with the fusion of Japan and other places? And it's like, oh, maybe it's Africa. I don't know. It really struck me. I don't know what this gallery is. I don't know. I don't have like a value judgment on on what on the validity of this project or its kind of like cultural meaning or anything like that. Mostly, I just really like the sound of "In Search of a Third" aesthetic. It just like gives me chills. Anyways, so then what do we do? We left the park, evidently. I guess this is maybe we're probably on our way back to the hotel to hang out for a bit before the next thing. Oh, there was like a kind of running joke with me and my mom where she really wanted to go to a Japanese McDonald's because she had heard really good things about the shrimp burger. And spoiler, we eventually did. But she just couldn't see any. For some reason, she like never noticed them. And she claimed that like we hadn't been seeing any. And I was like, no, they're there. I think it's just like you're too used to the presence of a McDonald's in the West, where it's like boom, the golden arches. Here, everything is competing for so valuable attention space. It's like where's frickin' Waldo trying to find any given thing. So yeah, I'm sure you've spotted it, but here's the McDonald's. But I think it's totally understandable that my mom never noticed them because you're not looking for this like little, 2 foot by 2 foot M. That's just not what we're attuned to. But yeah, here's some shots in and around Ueno. Oh, this was like a little park we went and hung out in for a bit, I think. Oh no no no! We're not even in Ueno. We're in friggin' Shibuya. Yeah, we decided to go to Shibuya for maximum contrast from the peace of the park to the bustle and hustle of the most busy intersection in the world, to my knowledge, the Shibuya Scramble. My mom really wanted to see it, just for the sake of seeing it, and then there were some stores in and around here we wanted to check out. But yeah, the crowds were pretty crazy. Here's Hachiko, the famous Hachiko statue. If you don't know, it's a really beautiful story. And I was telling my mom, and just like suddenly I started getting like really choked up, even though it's something I've known about for years and years and years, and I wouldn't have thought would impact me. So the story of Hachiko is this man had this dog that would come and wait for him at Shibuya train station when he came home from work. The dog would always just be there waiting, and they'd go home together. And then the man died unexpectedly one day, but the dog kept showing up. For the rest of the dog's life, he would show up at Shibuya station and wait for his master. It's beautiful. And they've immortalized the dog, Hachiko, as the statue, which has now become kind of the de facto meetup point in all of Tokyo. This is like the most famous one, to the point of cliche, to say I'll meet you at Shibuya station, or at the Hachiko at Shibuya station. But yeah, this whole square is just like bustling with stuff. There's always like this is kind of the closest Tokyo gets to the feeling of like Times Square, and I think it really speaks to kind of Japanese urban culture versus New York urban culture. That yeah, you'll see people here promoting themselves, handing out flyers for shows they're doing, or not even like busking, but just kind of like being in character and kind of showing off their persona as a musician or whatever. Outright busking is very rare to see people actually like performing, and there's like no scams. In Times Square, you can't walk 3 feet without somebody running up, if you look like a tourist, without somebody running up and trying to sell you something or trick you into spending money, or running up and taking a picture with you and then claiming you owe $20 for the picture or whatever. Nothing like that in Japan. You do get stuff like this, free Bible. There's some devotees out there, but it's just not on the same scale. There's Hachiko again. Another fun little statue that's right next to Hachiko, but nowhere near as famous. Little kids. So then we maneuvered our way over to where I saw there was a Beams. Beams is a chain in Japan that I quite like. They just have very nice aesthetic goods. Lots of kind of gifty stuff, so I thought it would be a good spot to search for souvenirs. Unfortunately, though, I was used to Beam stores that were their own little complex and were like 5 or 6 floors. I think there's one in Shinjuku like that. This one in Shibuya, I assumed would be pretty big because Shibuya is like, major commercial center. But it was actually very small. And then I realized that most Beam stores are actually very small and just like 2 rooms. And I had just gotten like incidentally spoiled by the big multi-floor beams. But yeah, they had this display for Nizu pop-up store. Man, you cannot keep up with mascot characters in Japan. You know about Sumiko Garashi? Forget it. that's the old and busted now. Now we're in the Nishizu era. Nizu. You know about Sanrio? Okay, Grandma, let's get you back in bed. No, it's just, I don't know. There's just so many lines of cute promotional characters, and they're all like busy as heck with their own brands of everything and their own stores and their own pop-ups and their own crossover promotional deals with this and that. It's I don't know if anyone can keep up with them. There needs to be like a dex of them, you know. This is back out on the street of Shibuya. I guess I didn't take any pictures in Beams, but Beams was still nice. Like I still really liked going there. It just it wasn't as big as I thought. You can see the huge billboards. Another classic New York-esque aspect of Shibuya. Some big buildings, some big ads. You know what's up. This was some model food. If you don't know about the Japanese tradition of model food, then you're missing out. I'm sure there's a great YouTube video about it. But yeah, almost every restaurant will have little models of what the dishes look like. And I really like those because it's very easy to picture how much food that is in regards to like how hungry you are and everything. Went to Village Vanguard. I took this picture because I wonder if I can find it quickly. I'll find it off screen because I don't want you just seeing like any picture that I have willy-nilly. Explore pictures of me from 2019-ish. That's too far back. It's a different Village Vanguard. Or no, I think it is the same Village Vanguard. It's just all done up for New Year's. And it's a whole bunch of Dead, or not even Dead Demon, but Inio Asano art. And I'm a big Inio Asano fan, so I was excited to see it. So yeah. Here I am, and then I was trying to remember the same pose. Now here's the scary thing. What's the real difference between these two pictures? Yes, I transitioned. Yes, I grew my hair out. I'm wearing different clothes. But the real answer is about 50 kilograms. I don't care. I don't know. You put on some weight when you age, it happens. Doesn't always happen. Doesn't have to be that way forever. But that's where I'm at right now. Anyways, Village Vanguard is cool. It's kind of a countercultural bookstore in one hand, where it has a lot of more niche manga, more artistic manga. A long time ago, when I was working with the scanlator Hawks, he gave me a little laundry list of manga to track down if I could in Japan. And most of them I ended up finding at Village Vanguard. Not your typical mainstream genres or what have you. And then they also just have like a ton of toys and merch, and it's laid out in kind of a fun way where each franchise gets its own little booth, and the aesthetics of that booth are just like so built up around that franchise. Every aspect of the aesthetic just kind of like suggesting that series' vibe. This I thought was funny. Sunny Angel is all sold out. The next arrival is Undersided, which is, I guess, undecided. Um, yeah, Sunny Angel popping off in Japan. Big Shibuya sign. There's a big karaoke, big echo. This was I can't remember the store, but it was like a gotcha store, and my mom was loving the gotcha culture. Really wanted to check out all the different machines. They just make great souvenirs, and she liked the idea of getting as part of the souvenir package for people close to her at least one gotcha that they could pop open. So we were always perusing these. This was. I wish I had taken more pictures. There was like a whole basement floor. It was kind of interesting because the main floor was very busy and people were swarming around certain machines and it was like a real flow of people. Oh, there's Sumiko Gurashi. Uh, and it was like, you know, kind of overwhelming. And I saw, oh, there's a basement. I'm gonna go check this out. We'll see if there's stuff down there that we're more interested in. You go down to the basement, and it's just suddenly like you're in like a gotcha archive. Like you're in the stacks, floor 7 of your local university library. It was like quiet. There were people, but there wasn't like this buzz of activity. They were just sort of like seriously studying all the machines. And instead of this kind of like bright, exciting gamer lighting layout, it was just like row after row of gotcha machines in this very kind of like sterile office environment. I wish I had taken a picture. The contrast before the floors was so funny to me. This was a little map of the environs. I just really liked the art style of it. It's like very, you know, visitor friendly. Everything is in English, and it just kind of distills down into what you might want to do at those places. And then there was like an interactive version because you might think this isn't useful. You go, oh, I want to go to Tire Park. You can't just type in Tire Park. That's not going to get you anywhere. So I guess you use the interactive version. Okay. Sorry, just replying to Discord message. This is still in Shibuya, I guess. Oh, I can look at the map. Yeah, this is still in Shibuya. Oh yeah, this is in Shibuya Station, I think. This really lovely stained glass piece. Oh wait! No, this is now back in Ginza. Yeah, we were meeting my friend and his wife for dinner in Ginza. So we started heading back over there. In the basement of a lot of train stations, they have really nice luxury food areas of all these different like booths selling very nice, high quality ingredients or dishes. It's sort of like Pusateri's in the bottom floor of Saks Fifth and the Bay in the Eaton Center. If you live in Toronto, I think that's the closest thing to like the same vibe where you just kind of feel like it's a rarefied air and there's a lot of tasty stuff around you. So they had this little caviar booth here that really excited me because I love caviar. I'm look, you can get a kilo of caviar. Isn't that nuts? For like, you know, 16,000 Canadian dollars is the equivalent there. I've only ever bought like a 10-gram pack, I think. I don't even know if I've ever bought a 30-gram pack. I think I've bought 10-gram packs for like 50, 60 bucks. I haven't done that in quite a while. But it's pretty damn tasty. It also has some foie gras, all sorts of fancy stuff, and you can get the mother of pearl spoon. Because with caviar, I don't know why they're selling this. This is maybe like a silver spoon or something. Because you're not supposed to use most metal spoons when eating caviar. It'll react with the caviar and make it taste worse. I'm kind of a caviar expert. You can go back on the channel and watch the video where I try caviar for the first time. You can see the birth of that love. Then we just kind of sat and rested in this nice little park, took a break here. I thought this thing was odd. There was someone performing, rare performance. You don't see it in Japan too often. I wish the videos wouldn't lag. How about you pause if you're going to lag instead of just continuing the audio? So I was taking this because they're playing that Aerosmith song. And even when I close my eyes, I still miss you, baby. I don't want to miss a thing. What's it called? Don't want to miss a thing? I don't really like that song. Maybe my rendition of it clued you in, but I just find it like very like whiny and sappy and irritating. And it's become a little bit of a meme with me and my boyfriend that I've brought it up a few times how much I hate it, so I thought it was funny. And then as I was just recording, you know, just like B-roll of the park so I could get the soundtrack, this flood of pigeons all decided to move at once. And my mom, who was watching me film, I turned to her and I was like, I think I just recorded a really cool video. And she was like, yeah, I think you did. It was really cool. Yeah, really nice park, really comfy. I don't know what this was a video of. This is probably a mistake. We ended up talking to this Indonesian woman. She was there with her husband. I'm not sure if her husband spoke English, but she spoke very good English. And she wanted some help with directions because she didn't have the eSIM, unfortunately. She didn't have data. So I was Google Mapsing some stuff for her and kind of showing her, oh, these are some routes you could take to get there. She just wanted to check out like the big Ginza shopping malls and stuff. So then we got talking about, oh, you know, we're from Canada. Yeah, I live near Toronto. My mom lives way out in Hicksville, whatever. And she was like, oh, I actually went on exchange to Canada when I was younger, when I was in high school. She was like, I lived in Thornhill. I was like, wow, what a strange place to live. Coming from Indonesia, of all places, and ending up in Thornhill, Canada. It's just so surreal to me. So we talked for quite a while. It was really lovely. Just sort of this random chat in a park. Just a nice, lush green park. Here's some more piggions. Hato. It's so weird that it does that. YouTube doesn't do that. If YouTube needs to buffer, it just stops. Okay, whatever. Then we started heading out to the restaurant. Saw some nice places along the way. This is really lovely. It's these old wooden storefronts. You just pull up a spot and eat. Doesn't get any better than that. Really nice old stuff. We were talking about, is this actually as old as it looks, or is it like faux old? And I was like, I'm not sure, but I think even if it was faux old at some point, it's probably just actually old now. Nice little shot again. Family Mart, my beloved. Yeah, this is funny too. So we knew there was this Godzilla statue near the restaurant. It's a restaurant I'd been to before, and I remembered this Godzilla statue. And one of the things we wanted to do in Shinjuku, when we were out there to eat sushi and see the municipal building and stuff. No, the municipal building wasn't in Shinjuku, but anyways, we ended up in Shinjuku after because it was close by. There's the big Godzilla statue, and we wanted to go see that. One of my mom's cousins is a big Godzilla fan. She wanted to take a picture of it for him. And we ended up not doing it. We were just too tired after sushi, too bloated. But I was like, there is this other Godzilla statue, but it's like not very big. So we're getting near the restaurant and we can see Godzilla statue on Google Maps. And my mom is going, well, where's Godzilla? Where's Godzilla? And I was like, this is such a surreal question. In no Godzilla movie are people craning their heads around going, where's Godzilla? Where's Godzilla? He's all too evident. It's a cool statue. The posing and sculpting detail is sick nasty, but Yeah, it's not very big. um, yeah, it's for this Toho Cinemas nearby. I saw they were playing Zone of Interest, which is kind of neat. Uh, communication guaranteed something zone. I'm not sure how this translates exactly, but I thought that was interesting. And what's this? Tonoban. Tonoban? I guess this is like a Japanese film I don't know about. But yeah, Zone of Interest. Banger. Check it out. So yeah, we waited in line, got a table, met up with my friend and his wife. It was the first time I'd met her. That was great. Had a nice chat, gave each other some omiyage, and then we set in for another phenomenal meal. So this place is Tim Ho Wan. I'll type it out for you. It is a chain of dim sum places, now known the world over. There's one in the States. I am so envious. Bring one to Toronto, please. But it is like maybe the best dim sum I've had in my entire life. This is the American menu. Let's find the Japanese menu. Let's just look at the pictures I took. What am I saying? They have these pork buns. And I know there's some dim sum purists out there that are like, why would you ever order the pork bun? Which already is crazy, because I love the pork bun you get at any dim sum place. I even buy them frozen and steam them at home. I love them so much. But even if you're a pork bun hater, this is something else entirely. It's baked with this crispy, sweet outer crust that's almost like melon pen. Not as sweet as melon pen, but with just this like sublime crispiness that I can only describe as the perfect crispiness. You bite in. Okay, well, we'll see the picture of it bitten into, but the shumai, amazing. Amazing. What's this thing on top? I don't even know. They have like mushroom integrated into it. It's not just like a puree, it's heterogeneous. Each of the ingredients speak to you in turn. That lovely, filling, warm, delicious dim sum aura, the hargao phenomenon. We're just ordering the classics. There's your trifecta right there. It doesn't need to go much further than that. So juicy, loaded with shrimp, whole shrimp stuffed inside. This is the interior of the pork bun. It's like right when you bust through that opening layer, it suddenly becomes so chewy, so glutinous, so soft. And inside, not over flavored, not overly saucy, barbecuey, whatever, but just like a lovely marinated pork taste that's so soft, so juicy, so delicious. Oh my god. A little more in focus without my arm or whatever in the way. Got these shrimp toasts. So good, so good. Basically what we're looking at here is like a butterflied shrimp spread over a little piece of bread. Then the whole thing's deep fried. A little sesame, a little, I don't know. Phenomenal. What stuck out to me is that the bread is so bready. It's like a nice piece of like milk bread, of shokupan. It's so soft and just like bouncy in your mouth with the crisp outside of deep fry. So good. And then this was my friend's favorite. He was really looking forward to this. I was really looking forward to this. The sticky rice wrapped up in a lotus leaf. Just full of treasures. I forgot to take a picture just unwrapped, but this is, substantially eaten into. So many meats and other things woven within. Oh, what a good meal. I was like, I was hyping it up to my mom a lot. I told him we should go to this dim sum place because I know he liked it. I remembered really liking it, and my mom loves dim sum. And I was like, I think this was the best dim sum I've had in my life. But I gave her the caveat. The day I had it before on the previous trip was the day that we mailed all the stuff from Japan back home. If you don't remember, that trip was so psychotic, I bought way too much stuff to ever dream of taking back in a suitcase. So we just bundled it into 3 big cardboard boxes and shipped it back to my house in Canada, which is like just so absurd to me, but we did it. And that was the day we did that. We were all stressed. We were all tired. It was quite an involved process in Tokyo Central Station, just losing our minds. And this like hit the spot in dimensions totally unforeseen. So I was like, I don't know if it'll live up to that last meal, and it did. Oh man, still the best dim sum I've had in my life. Just phenomenal. There's some really good dim sum places in Toronto. Sure. I'm not even saying like blow for blow I can't find a better shrimp toast in Toronto. I maybe I could. I'm not saying I couldn't find a better sticky rice in Toronto. Maybe I could. You know what I don't think I could ever find in Toronto? These babies. It's like I don't know if I ever really fully stopped thinking about them since the last time we went. And now that obsession has just relaunched itself all over again. Oh baby. It was so good. And then at Wendy's, the pretzel roast beef, which we didn't have. Holy crap, that's really expensive for Japanese fast food. But dang, it looks good. Ooh, this I wish I ate like 30 times more often. God, I love this. Kiwi Coolish. Coolish is just like bagged ice cream. You just squeeze it into your mouth. It's phenomenal. All the fun of soft serve without any possibility of mess. Typically, it's just vanilla. Sometimes you can find chocolate. And then I had never seen any other flavors before until now. Kiwi. Of all flavors, kiwi. But it was so good. So sweet and tangy and refreshing. I loved it so much, I was like, I'm going to buy this like every time I see it. I'm addicted. And then I like barely ever saw it again. I think I had it like one more time. So good. I also got Sack Sack. Wow, there's one right here. The grocery store beneath me sells these. And I'm addicted. I'll admit it. I buy one almost every time I'm out to get any other groceries. Just toss in a little Sack Sack. It's a grape juice from Korea that has little globules of grape flesh or artificial grape flesh. I think it's real grape flesh inside of it. It's so sweet. It's so refreshing. It's amazing. And then I saw one in Village Vanguard, and it's kind of rare to see Korean snacks in Japan. So I was like, yeah, I'll have a little Sack Sack in Japan, you know? Just to remind me of home. Oh yeah, and then my friend got me these pastries as, you know, as part of our omiyage. I also got... I haven't published that video yet. You'll see what I got later. But yeah, this... We were trying to, like, figure out what this was. Did I take a picture of the bag? Yeah. Kognane, and this is Kuniya ne no mise. And I was like, I don't know what any of these words mean. I don't know what kind of pastry this is. It's kind of like a cannoli. But the encircling parts, it was really good, by the way, are like a kind of croissant almost, but like harder, crisper. And the inside was really nice. Not too sweet, creamy, flavorful, delicious. So I was like, what the hell is a kuniyane? Maybe I gotta spell it in Japanese. Because I always don't know how it's gonna be romangiized. Katakana full width. No, I just said katakana full width. Ni ya ne. So it's like, all right, there it is. But what is it? And then whoops. No, I typed it wrong. What did we end up finding? Oh yeah, here we go. It's just a new type of pastry. That's why we didn't know what it was. What in the heck is a kogunane? They just made it. The kunyane. So it's just a new type of pastry. And that's why we didn't know what it was. But it was really good. And my mom got this lemon soda lemonade thing that she really liked. And I was like, if you really like something, you should take a picture of it. And then you'll be able to find it again later. And I got a strong zero. Because I heard they're getting rid of strong zero. I heard it's being phased out. If you don't know, strong zero is a menace to society. It's a very strong drink. I think this is like 13%. It just tastes like juice. It does not really even remotely taste like alcohol. And it's just sold in cheap cans in convenience stores everywhere. And if you're a lightweight, and I'm pretty lightweight, even though I'm heavy, I'm a lightweight drinker because I don't drink very much these days. Just having one of them, you get a pretty good buzz on. I got the green apple flavor. I was very happy with it. This is like some alternative strong zero. I don't really get what this negative 196. Is that like the service temperature? But yeah, I don't know. It hit the spot. It was nice. I didn't really drink it all on this trip. I think I had like beers a couple times with dinner, and then this, which I just randomly drank when we were back at the hotel and I was just watching stuff on Plex. Good stuff. And the next day is a new day, and I actually have to go do something. So the timing is working out great. See you on the next one. I hope you're enjoying these. I'm really enjoying these. Viva Japan. I don't know.